Hello and welcome to Native Speakers Academy's Underground Education. My name is G and I am your host. This is designed to be a short digital media netcast in which we look at different issues related to education, schools, society and learning in general. Our aim, as always, is to highlight ideas that empower the individual to take more control over their own life. And today's article is Ways to Guide Children Without Punishment. It is written by Dr. Laura Markham, and the source is the website ahaparenting.com. One of the reasons that I was attracted to this article was that I'm always looking for ways that I can communicate with my children where I'm not using threats or force. And this article provides a number of different perspectives on alternative ways that we can solve problems together with our children. As usual, links to the sources can be found in the description connected with this audio post on the internet, and you can use the link to read along with us if you like. So, let's begin. Ways to guide children without punishment. The reason a child will act unkindly or cause damage is always innocent. Sometimes she is playful and free-spirited, and other times, when aggressive or angry, she is unhappy or confused. The more disturbing the behavior, the more the child is in pain and in need of your love and understanding. In other words, there is no such thing as bad behavior in children. Instead, there is a child who is doing the best she can and we don't understand her. And that's a quote from Naomi Aldort. And it's very true that children are experiencing the world from a very unique perspective. And I'm not saying that children in any way are animals, but monkey see, monkey do. They are copying, and that's how they learn. They're copying the responses and attitudes and reactions of all the people around about them, and most especially their parents. And that's why it's extremely important that the parents provide positive reinforcement for their children. But let's get into the article and see what the article suggests. Parents are often surprised to hear that I don't believe in most of what we think of as discipline: spankings, consequences, and timeouts, because it keeps kids from becoming responsible, self-disciplined people. How will my child learn how to behave? They ask. Well, that's a very interesting first paragraph, because those elements of discipline, the spankings, consequences, and timeouts, are quite strong. And they do defer responsibility. They postpone it to a later time. And most parents know that responsibility is a key element in learning and growing up. Let's continue. My answer is that children learn what they live. The most effective way to teach kids is to treat them the way we want them to treat others, with compassion and understanding. When we spank, punish, or yell, kids learn to act aggressively. And I know that there are studies quoted by Stefan Molyneux from Free Domain Radio, where children who are spanked over a long period of time seem to have lower IQs. I know that might be quite hard for some people to believe, but the evidence is there. And if you visit our website nsa-slovakia.com, you will find a special post that contains all of the parent-related interviews that Stefan Molyneux has done. There's a great body of work, and we have a lot to be thankful for. So, thanks, Stefan. Anyway, let's get back to this article. I'm going to try and read it without verbally annotating too much today. Timeouts, symbolic abandonment, give children the message that they're alone with their big scary feelings just when they need us most, rather than being an opportunity to learn how to manage their emotions. But I'm a big fan of time-ins, during which we remove our child from the situation and sit with him to help him process the feelings that were causing him to act out. That doesn't mean we renege on our responsibility to guide our children by setting limits. No running into the streets, no hitting the baby, no peeing on the carpet, that's an interesting one, no picking the neighbour's tulips, no hurting the dog. These are limits, not punishment. Are you wondering how your child will learn not to do these things next time? If you don't discipline him when he does them, then you're assuming that we need to punish children to teach a lesson. It's quite interesting, that word discipline. The origin would be disciple being one who follows, or one who copies, or a student who tries to attain the same level as their master, which, when we discipline forcefully, what is the child going to do? One example that I have from my own life is a friend of a friend who was witnessed hitting her child when the child did something wrong, and then instantly the child hit the parent back, and the parent said, "I don't understand why the child does that." Well, is it really that complicated? Actually, research shows that punishing kids creates more misbehavior. Being punished makes kids angry and defensive. It launches adrenaline and the other fight, flight, or freeze hormones, and turns off the reasoning, cooperative impulses. Kids quickly forget the bad behavior that led to their being punished, even while they're processing the emotional aftermath of the punishment for weeks. If they learn anything, it's to lie and avoid getting caught. Punishment disconnects us from our kids, so we have less influence with them. It even lowers IQ, since kids who don't feel completely safe and secure aren't free to learn, which relates back to what I said earlier. Quite simply, punishment is never an effective means of raising a responsible, considerate, happy child. It teaches all the wrong lessons. If, instead, we can stay kind and connected while we set limits, our children will internalize what they've lived. They don't resist our guidance, so they feel connected, and they see the impact on others, so they're considerate and responsible. Because they've had parents who modeled emotional self-regulation, they've learned to manage their own emotions, and therefore their own behavior. Because they've been accepted for all of who they are, they're in touch with their own passions and motivated to explore them. In essence, they are comfortable with knowing who they themselves are. So, what can we do to guide children without discipline? Number 1, regulate your own emotions. That's how children learn to manage theirs. You're the role model. Don't act when you're upset. If you can't get in touch with your love for your child, then what would a really fantastic parent do right now? Do that. If you can't, then take a deep breath and wait until you're calm before you address the situation. Resist the impulse to be punitive. It always backfires. Yes, basically you are the mold in which your child's behavior is created. Number 2, honor feelings. When your child is hijacked by adrenaline or other fight or flight hormones, he can't learn. Instead of lecturing, do a time in where you stay with your child and let him have his meltdown in your attentive presence. Your goal is to provide a calm, holding environment for your child's upset emotions. Expressing emotions with a safe, attentive, accepting adult is what helps kids move through those feelings and learn to self-soothe so that they can regulate their own emotions eventually. Don't try to reason with him during the emotional storm. Afterwards, he'll feel so much better and so much closer to you that he'll be open to your guidance about why we don't say, "Shut up," because it hurts feelings, or lie, because it cuts the invisible cords that connect our hearts to each other. Number 3, remember how children learn. Consider the example of teeth brushing. Start when she's a baby. Model brushing your own teeth. Make it fun for her. Gradually give her more of the responsibility, and eventually she'll be doing it herself. The same principle holds for learning to say thank you, taking turns, remembering her belongings, feeding her pets, doing homework, and most everything else you can think of. Routines are invaluable, partly because they provide the scaffolding for your child to learn basic skills, just as scaffolding provides structure for a building to take shape. You might be mad she forgot her jacket again, but yelling won't help her remember. It also won't send you back in time to correct the situation. But scaffolding will help. Yes, provide a framework for your children to build upon. Number 4, connect before you correct, and stay connected, even while you guide to awaken your child's desire to be his best self. Remember that children misbehave when they feel bad about themselves and disconnected from us. Stoop down to her level and look her in the eye. You are mad. Tell me what you need in words. No biting. Really, do children bite? I can't imagine that. Anyway, pick her up. You wish you could play longer. It's time for bed. Make loving eye contact. You are so upset right now. Put your hand on her shoulder. You're scared to tell me about the cookie. These are all ways that invite the child into the conversation, and also I think the close physical proximity of an adult can be psychologically comforting to a child in that kind of situation, as long as you're not aggressive about how you present your information. Number 5, set limits, but set them with empathy. Of course, you need to insist on some rules, but you can also acknowledge her perspective. When kids feel understood, they're more able to accept our limits. No biting. You're very, very mad and hurt, but you need to tell your brother in words. This writer obviously has a lot of experience with biting for some reason. It's bedtime now. I know you wish you could play longer. You don't want Mummy to say, "No, I hear you." And the answer is no. We don't say "shut up" to each other, even when we're sad and mad. That's a strange thing to say, isn't it? Or perhaps in the right situation it might work. No matter how scared you are, I need you to tell me the truth. That's quite nice. And perhaps also it would be good to include open questions if you are interested in inviting the child to express their feelings. Now, we don't have time to go into that here because the idea is to keep these presentations short, but if you visit our home site, we have a brand new post on open and closed questions and how you can use them to improve the quality of your communication with the people around about you. So, just visit NSA-Slovakia and you'll find it on the front page. Let's move on. Number 6, remember that all misbehavior is an expression, however misguided, of a legitimate need. He has a reason, even if you don't think it's a good one. That's true because it's his reason. His behavior is terrible. He must feel terrible inside. Does he need more sleep, more time with you, more downtime, more chance to cry and release those upsetting emotions we all store up? Address the underlying need and you eliminate the misbehavior. And that's about focusing on the source of the problem, not the result of the problem. Bad behavior itself is just like a cancer. If you only focus on removing the visible conclusion or result of the cancer, if you only just cut out the cancerous growth from the body, you're really not addressing the situation or the problem of what caused this to happen in the first place. And so remember to go back, and you might have to go a long way back. Remember to go back to the source of the issue. Number 7, say yes. Kids will do almost anything we request if we make the request with a loving heart. Find a way to say yes instead of no, even while you set your limit. Yes, it's time to clean up, and yes, I will help you, and yes, we can leave your tower up, and yes, you can growl about it, and yes, if we hurry, we can read an extra story, and yes, we can make this fun, and yes, I adore you, and yes, how did I get so lucky to be your parent? Yes. Your child will respond with the generosity of spirit that matches yours. And I learned personally the very hard way that the correct answer is always yes. Even when it's no, it's still yes. I'll leave you to think about that one for a while. Number 8, stay connected with special time every day. Turn off the phone, close the computer, and tell your child, okay, I'm all yours for the next 20 minutes. What should we do? Follow her lead. The world is full of humiliation for kids. So for this 20 minutes, just be an innocent bumbler and let her win. Giggling releases pent-up fears and anxiety. So make sure to play, giggle, and be silly. Have a pillow fight, wrestle, snuggle. Let her tell you what's on her mind. Let her rant or cry. Just accept all those feelings. Be 100% present. Kids who know they can count on daily special time with their parent flourish because they trust enough to express their full range of emotion, and they want to behave as a result. And maybe I can say personally that's something that I need to work on. I do need sometimes to put away my digital tablet or turn off my computer and to sit down with my child and say, I'm all yours. Number 9, forgive yourself. You can't be an inspired parent if you're feeling bad about yourself, any more than your child can act right if she feels bad about herself. You can always repair the relationship. Start today. Build a bridge. You have to forgive in order to take the next step forward. And forgive, but you don't need to forget. Just place the memory in a special place. It'll be there if you need it. And that connects with the theme of organizing yourself and organizing your thoughts and organizing your ideas. Helping yourself to keep control of your own emotions as a parent. Number 10, when all else fails, give yourself a big hug. Then give your child a big hug. Can you hug yourself? I guess you can. Connection trumps everything else in parenting. You have to be there. You have to be with your child, share time with your child, share those experiences with your child. Because you only get one chance. Life is full of people who missed their child's basketball match or missed their child's performance at a debate society or missed their child's poetry reading or missed their child's art exhibition because of duties and responsibilities in work. In every situation, your children trump your work time and your work experience and your business. Yes, we know business pays the bills, but think of business in terms of its origin, the adjective busy. So business is in essence just busyness. And it's taking you away very often from the things that really matter. And if you need to be in work and you have an opportunity, take your child with you. Perhaps they'll be able to learn something about your world, and through that you'll be able to connect a little bit more deeply with your own children. Finally, the author of the article writes, if you don't believe that these things work, try it this week and see what kind of miracle you can make. Now, there were side references in the article to some elements of research, and also added here is an extra paragraph that if you want to explore the research behind this approach to parenting, my favorite resource is the index of Alfie Cohen's wonderful book Unconditional Parenting, which lists hundreds of peer-reviewed studies that support this view. That's a wealth of research and far too much for us to include here, but readers can use the links that are provided at the bottom of the article to begin their own research into this topic. And so there's a place for you to continue. This is not the be-all and end-all, it's just the beginning of the topic. So once again, the article was Ways to Guide Children Without Punishment, written by Laura Markham, and the source was the website AHA Parenting. Again, thank you for your attention. Native Speakers Academy is a small independent centre for educational theory and research. You can support us by visiting our websites nsa-slovakia.com and nsa-education.com. We're also all over the internet. Just use a search engine like Google or Yahoo or Start Page. If you enjoyed this article, then you might like to share the original article somewhere on the net, or you can share this audio reading of it. So, that's everything for today. I hope to talk to you again soon. Until then, stay safe and have a good day. I wish you success in finding alternatives to punishment. Bye for now.